Okay, so I am prepping for my presentation in my clinical supervision, where I am an associate marriage and family therapist. Um, I pulled together all my books on trauma. That's basically what you're looking at right now. And I'm still in the process of putting this presentation together, but kind of back up a second. I was already putting together some sort of project on trauma, how to use NLP with trauma. So that's what these two piles are here. Kind of like I'm in the midst of putting something together. Um, where was I? Back to trauma. So, really good. The best book on complex trauma is this one. And these are a combination of EMDR type books, energy psych, just psych, regular psych, and a lot of body stuff, because there's a lot of body stuff with trauma, and then energy tapping on trauma. And then this red binder is a course I took on trauma and neuroscience. And I've done some integrative medicine, well, at least one kind of seminar type thing. So I've learned a lot about trauma. And NLP, the easy way to think about NLP is parts. Now, we've heard about parts therapy, but NLP was going on it already in a different kind of way. But it's very similar. I mean, might as well say it's the same thing. Parts integration. So I guess the theory that I have is that when you're in trauma, you have fragmented or conflicted parts or shadow parts. And NLP helps to integrate them, resolve the conflict, and it also has a desensitization and a reprocessing effect, and some other things that I add in the one process that I put together that I've been using to help people, heal stuff, move on. And I want to write a book on it or train it. I'm not really sure, but I'm in the process, all the stuff of figuring that out. The process, I call it the inner peace process. So anyway, but where am I at? 2.5, 3 minutes almost. We were talking about binders in my closet, and this one is all about tapping for weight loss. So there's all these great things you can use tapping for. Let me just sit here because it's hard to think and talk and move this camera at the same time. But in terms of personality types, a really good book to learn about, kind of like the basic 4 temperaments, would be this one. And the type 4 personality is probably taking trauma and depression the hardest. And they often struggle with shame and depression and grief and all sorts of things, abandonment being the scapegoat, codependent. And sometimes they indulge in a lot of revenge fantasies. And my clients often ask me, they kind of feel scared or nervous or bad or ashamed for having these revenge fantasies. But actually, well, 2 things. One is they're very healthy to have revenge fantasies. Of course, you don't want to act anything out in real life, but having a daydream about getting back at people who hurt you or locking up or punishing, that's kind of part of the grieving and angering process. But the second thing is you don't want to stay there forever. You do need to feel free, accept yourself without shame, to have anger and rage and resentment and blame and grief and all there, hurt and pain. But to have a healthy expression of this anger, lots of ways, right? Exercise, art, and so forth. But in your head, for especially type 4s with the revenge fantasies, go ahead and have them. But to my second point, moving forward, develop a happy ending for yourself with every revenge fantasy that you let yourself indulge in. Because we do have to grieve and anger trauma, but we also have to take good care of ourselves and reparent ourselves and look forward, see ourselves in the near future, acting out positive things that we're interested in. We can't hold ourselves back forever being stuck in processing trauma. You can be processing trauma as well as processing wellness and moving forward with your life. And it's much better than just staying stuck in the bad parts. It's kind of a bad and a good. And it's a journey. But you get better, and you're not the only one. So that's my tip for today as I'm trying to videotape this whole presentation that I'm working on. And I appreciate you listening and any feedback or questions you might have. So the main place I'm working from now in terms of online would be my Google Blogger, which is NLP4, the number 4, PTSD.blogspot.com. And that's all, folks.